I have taken it on myself to give all the starter Pokemon a Paradox form. Almost all of them. Today it's time to add 7 more second stages to that mix, so sit back, relax and enjoy these evolutions. For our first evolution we're going to take care of Iron Quacks. I didn't want to just convert him into a robot, but I wanted to add something to the design as well. We weren't really sure which typing the first form should have, because I didn't really think about it while creating the design. This is why I added the ribbons to this design to portray a ribbon dancer. I thought this would be a fitting direction to go to, since the entire evolution line is supposed to be a bit elegant, and I think elegancy fits the fairy typing quite well. I did get to the point of having to decide if I wanted to continue detaching his wings, because we've learned that it isn't necessary for a good future design. For this piece I did actually decide to do it, because I love the idea of the Pokemon dancing fluently without being limited by the capability of regular wings. We also added a few rubber patches and dark metallic features, so it would look even more like an evolution. I made the color for the lighted area a bit lighter than his regular form as well, because I don't like to use dark colors for that feature, and I think it would be a good segue to the final form.
Iron Grace, the Paradox Pokemon. It is theorized that this Pokemon has been created for the sole purpose of entertainment. It uses its glowing ribbons to nearly hypnotize the crowd, with a combination of beautiful lights and soothing movements. It is a calm and very proud Pokemon, but in a rare occasion of being booed by an audience member, it loses its cool and will kick them with its powerful legs.
I think this design looks awesome. I especially love the tiny detail of the added ribbons, and this feature will probably be the main focal point for his final evolution. Up next is the evolution for Iron Hops. Like I've mentioned quite a few times before, this piece is my least favorite of them all. I know I would probably be able to fix it with the current amount of knowledge I have, but let's just use this knowledge on the evolution instead. We gave the first form the fire flying typing, and even though he doesn't really look like a flying type, I still think it works with the lore we wrote for him. This is what I want to do for a boot as well. The biggest change we had to make for this piece was to make sure we didn't fill his entire face with a dark color. We achieved this by adding in the screen, but still keeping the nose part separated. For the ears I did decide to make them float again, but I didn't want to just make them float like we did in the first form. I tried to make a base on its head, so it still kinda looks like it's attached, but it's actually not. I also got more feedback on my latest 2 videos, saying that my future forms still use too many round shapes in them. This makes them too organic, and it doesn't sound like a robot as much. This is why from now on, I'm trying to make some of their features a little bit more blocky or sharp. Not all of them though, because I do think you need to keep using round shapes, but we just have to find a good balance for it.
Iron Kick, the Paradox Pokemon. Just like its previous form, this Pokemon generates a lot of fire energy. It seems that they've also developed a way of flying instead of only floating. It appears that they can use their generated power to push them forwards with their ears. This way of flying is very slow, and scientists first thought that they were still just floating.
I think we've definitely upgraded Iron Hub's design. It is missing a rubbery patch on its design, but I just wasn't able to find a place where I could add it without it getting too cluttered. The third evolution will be for Scorching Skills. At first I wasn't really sure if I wanted to bring back the Dilophosaur like neck color, because it isn't the most pretty thing. I did try a bunch of different things, like just a few spikes or only at certain regions, but the piece just didn't come together. I even tried the silhouette method, and we did eventually bring back the neck color. To be fair, it doesn't look too bad, and it does fit the evolution line very well. We also enlarged the back of its head, because this makes the design look a lot less developed, just like a caveman. Other changes were bigger arms and claws, a bigger and spikier tail, and a horn on its nose. The color stayed basically the same as regular Charmeleon, but we added a red accent color just like we did for Charmander. To finish up the piece, we added the scale brush again, and I think it looks awesome.
Primal Flame, the Paradox Pokemon. This Pokemon seems to be a ruthless predator of an ancient world, rivaled by few and feared by many. Primal Flame is extremely powerful. Its skills and claws can reach up to 1000 degrees Celsius, which it uses to burn down its enemies.
I am not really sure about this piece. One side of me absolutely adores it, and the other side thinks it's a bit ugly. Well, At least the shiny looks awesome. Our fourth evolution will be for Iron Pengu. This was one of those designs where I just flew through the process. We did make a mistake with the typing for his first stage that we had to rectify. We made Iron Pengu a water steel type, but that is kinda boring since his final evolution usually has that typing as well. This is why we decided to swap the steel typing to a water electric type. We might bring back the steel typing for his final evolution, but we'd combine it with the electric typing instead of water. Now that we have that out of the way, let's talk a bit more about the design itself. The first stage actually had his arms detached, but I didn't feel like that would work for this piece too. This is why I decided to scrap it and add a few details to make the design look interesting without those kind of arms. We gave him shoulder patches, added black parts to the end of his arms and gave him the rubber patch on its belly. I connected the dots on its belly with that rubber effect in order to show our wanted typing. For the colors we just used the regular colors of Primplop and referenced the lightest colors of Iron Pengu.
Iron Waddle, the Paradox Pokemon. This Pokemon is thought to be a helper for Arctic rescue teams. It uses its sharp flippers to dig through snow and ice, and its electric powers to illuminate the land in snowstorms. It is capable to provide someone in need with water and can also heat up its body so they can stay warm.
I love this design very much. This is a trademark piece for my Paradox mons. They change a lot, but they don't. Last week I gave you a new sub goal, and this still stands. If you manage to get us to the 7,500 subscribers by the end of the 21st of May, I will make a tutorial on how I draw these guys. Good luck. Our next stop is an evolution for Thundering Fangs. This was one of the fan favorite designs out of the first batch, and I'm still very happy with it as well. It was actually very easy to transform Florigato into an evolution of my own creation. I just changed all of his features into the exact same features I gave Sprigatito. Take the eyebrows, lightning bolts, pointy leaves, and the mane for example. Someone in my chat told me that the regular form actually uses its pin as a yo-yo. This sparked another idea in my brain, no pun intended. We removed this pin and we gave him an electrical yo-yo, which finished this piece perfectly. It did take me quite a while to make, but that was mainly because he just had a lot of details. The colors didn't change much either. We used the regular colors and changed the accent color from pinkish to yellow, just like we did for the first stage.
Masked Zipper, the Paradox Pokemon. This Pokemon is very unpredictable and seems to lose interest in a heartbeat. It is also able to manipulate the static energy generated from its fur to create powerful shocks. Whenever it saved up enough energy, it can use this energy to create an orb of plasma. This orb is extremely dangerous and explodes on impact, yet it seems to like playing with the orb.
I like this design a lot. We didn't use many electric type colors, but it still easily reads as an electric type. Sometimes a good shape language portrays your typing better than the colors ever would. Our second to last evolution is for Iron Fox. For this piece I went hard on all the blockier and pointier shapes. This made such a big difference that it made me sad I didn't do this earlier. We also took some inspiration from Iron Valiant and we made the middle part of her body into the rubber texture. Further changes were the segmented legs, hands, and we changed her stick into the lighted area as well. I did think that I made another mistake by making Iron Fox into a fire psychic type, but now that I think about it, it could actually be sick to turn the final evolution into a psychic dark type. Imagine an evil looking, robotic dark mage Delphox. A mouthful, but that would be awesome. For the colors I used a dark color for her legs and just kept the yellow and red colors the same. I do quickly want to mention that the shiny for this piece looks absolutely incredible. It just works insanely well with the shape language we used.
Iron Torch, the Paradox Pokemon. This Pokemon seems to be wary of human contact. Researchers have not been able to get close to one yet. It appears to use illusions in order to mislead any danger coming in their way, which makes it almost impossible to catch.
I think that this design might be the closest design to a real Paradox Pokemon. I really think that Pokemon might have used a similar design for Braixen if they did actually decide to make it into a future form. Our final evolution for today is for Thorny Twig. This design started out as a big struggle. We removed the leaves on its back which made him lose a big part of his identity. I don't think it always has to be a bad thing, but we definitely needed to bring back at least some of those leaves into the design. We managed to do so by adding them to its belly, a little bit like chest hair. We also gave his head an extra armored feeling and made his shell look like the beginning of Rocky Mountains. I think this is a perfect transition into the final evolution I have in mind. This version is still a grass rock type, and I'm planning to make Torterra into a rock ground type instead. Imagine Torterra not as a walking forest, but as a walking set of mountains. I think that would look sick. I also added other armor pieces, and we kept the rhinoceros horns to make the design feel even sturdier. The colors we used were just a darker variant of the colors of Thorny Twig. We did also play around with a red eye instead of the yellow one, but that just didn't look good, so we eventually changed it back into a yellow one.
Mossy Cliff, the Paradox Pokemon. Unlike his first stage, this Pokemon likes to hunt by laying still and blending in with nature perfectly. It can go long periods without food because it only moves if it's absolutely necessary. Only the few trainers that have been able to convince this Pokemon to be caught have seen what an unmovable powerhouse this Pokemon actually is.
I think that this Pokemon received the most name suggestions from my community of all the pieces. A lot of them were fantastic, and I just want to thank everyone who left a comment for these names. Well, we just finished 7 more second stage starters, and next week we'll take care of the final 7. Let me know which design was your favorite, and goodbye.